What is up, everybody? Solomon here. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic Monday. If you see any scam ads on this video, please do not participate in those. All right, an update to the buy and hold XRP, aka like this pump group that supposedly was supposed to go down this morning at 8:30 a.m. Obviously didn't pan out. I came out obviously and stated that I was an avid non-supporter of something like this, but I obviously disagreed with 182,858 people as well. So I'm sure that a lot of people, and I could see by the dislikes and stuff on my video yesterday, which is fine. We're all entitled to our own opinion in this space. We're expecting this to happen. Essentially, we did have issues with exchanges going down, but I think the real story for all of this, and you know, I also was seeing comments, you know, why am I so serious all the time? Why do I seem so angry all the time? I'm not angry, but I've been around this space, well, at least in my opinion, long enough that if I see something that looks like it's bullshit, I'm going to call it out. Not to say that this was necessarily bullshit or, you know, I said yesterday the intentions, I was very, very weary of the intentions of what was going on with this, but it is what it is. I'm going to give you guys my opinion. I'm not trying to be seeming like I'm angry all the time. And honestly, I just really care about the community. I'll always call a spade a spade. If I think a certain way, I'm going to say it. I have no problem, and I think many of you know, apologizing if I am incorrect about certain things. Now, this being said, this buy and hold group was supposed to go down at 8:30 in the morning. Really interesting to me that you can see the 1 minute candles here. And I looked at this morning. I would never look at a 1 minute candle ever in my entire life. I'm not a technical analyst by any means. You guys know that. But the 1 minute candle, this is 8:30 a.m. Okay. The time's a little different here. This is 13:30. That's military time, but military time doesn't even equate out to 8:30 a.m. The time zone is different on TradingView. This is 8:30 a.m. though, when this buy and hold group was supposed to take place. This is literally 8:31 a.m. and you can see the giant dump from 8:30 to 8:31, and it went down 12% in a minute. So, and what's really interesting is if you go back, the real selling started. So this is 13:30. This is telling me it's 11:50, so about an hour and 40 minutes prior to this buy and hold group supposedly starting to take place. We broke below the 21 EMA. Don't look at the 1 minute charts though. I was just watching it this morning to see if there was anything crazy about to happen. But yeah, this dump literally occurred 1 minute after the buy and hold group was supposed to start taking place. So again, I know a lot of you guys, even a lot of people that watch my channel, you guys know that I'm a little bit more realistic. May have thought that XRP was going to go to certain highs today and you were going to be able to sustain that. I was just weary about the intentions of the entire thing, because as soon as it was announced, people started buying, very obviously buying. Now, I also want to say that I don't directly believe that the price rise was a direct derivative of this announcement of this pump group. XRP is very much so in its own trend. It's its own monster. If you follow this channel whatsoever, you know that I don't chart, but I try to look at big picture type things. And we've been following this base trend line. I've seen a lot of comments, just don't even put charts on my channel, whatever. Yeah, that's fine and well, but it's also my channel. And I've also used very simple methods. And I look at this not even as like I'm a technical analyst whatsoever, because I'm certainly not. But there's very simple metrics that I've used, posted about HBAR. I'm watching HBAR before it did whatever it did in price. Certain things that you can do that are very easy to do. And big picture type stuff is all that I really look to do in this space, especially when I'm looking at charts. I do enough research from a fundamental standpoint. I try to use it as one more extremely simple metric to understand when I'm buying or when I'm potentially going to sell with certain assets, because not every digital asset is a let's hold it for 30 years or hold it for 10 years or let's hold it until it goes to zero or the moon. To me, at least, I've been trying to remove myself from emotion as much as possible in this space. I love XRP. You guys know that. I still hold XRP. And what's interesting to me, though, is we've been watching this base trend line going all the way back to 2017. It's not a huge metric as far as the time frame is concerned, but it's all that we have with XRP. Actually, I think it goes back 2014. Yeah, 2014. I'm sorry. But this base trend line hasn't been broken. This is on the daily. What's really interesting is that the initial pump that we saw in July of last year was essentially from the downtrend all the way from the bull run in 2018, late 2017, early 2018. We broke through that, and then we touched off right around 84 cents. I think we wicked up to 90 cents, right, back in November. Now we dropped back down, apparently because of the SEC news, but I think we're all pretty much realists in this space. At least I hope that we can understand that the SEC news definitely played a part in this. Generally, price dictates news, but I think news dictated price to an extent here. We had a lot of buying pressure back at this base trend line again. Now we see the same thing happening again. We've got all the way back up into the mid 70s, right? Like 75, 76 cents or whatever. What I found interesting just playing around with this is that if I draw a trend line from the top of the entire bull market, I've got two touches. I've got one, which is whenever we rose up in November, and then I've got one, which is what we just did over the past couple days here. So I do not think XRP is dead by any means. And also what's interesting to me is that we're seeing the EMAs start to cross on the daily and the weekly, and where our red candle basically came down to and wicked off of. Not so much on the daily because we didn't necessarily wick yet, but if you take a look at the weekly, we are dead nuts right on that 21 EMA. So I'm curious to see how this thing plays out. I try to look at larger time frames. I try to look at base trend lines. We touched base very, very similarly in the past. You can see this looks very similar. Now I'm just curious to see where this goes. So I don't think XRP is dead. I am very much so here for the utility pump. I think that, and I posted this in my Patreon Twitter today, this is not financial advice. I think we easily break $1. And I don't think that it takes a whole lot of time. Now, if we break down from this base trend line, it's going to be bad news. But if we play around in here for a little bit more time, weeks, a couple of months at the most, and it may be way shorter than that, I wouldn't be surprised to see us break above this, confirm it, and then we start attacking higher levels. So it's always nice to kind of sit back, not necessarily play into the FOMO and the pumps and stuff like that, but to actually look at what's going on, not necessarily even from a fundamental level, because with XRP, I don't need to see more fundamentals. I've seen it. That's why I've begun, digging into some other assets. But there's other metrics that you could potentially use too. And I even said in Patreon, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another leg up very soon in XRP. Again, I feel really bad for all the people that were going to get involved in that buy and hold thing. But I think a lot of people made the money on the front end of that thing, and they front-loaded buys. It was very obvious by the price action, and especially 1 minute after that group was supposed to go live, you saw that massive 12% dump. Crazy. So I tried warning people to the best of my ability. I'm not correct on everything. I get a lot of things wrong. I will continuously try to apologize if I am wrong. I asked about the XRP documentary in a very rude way on Twitter, and I apologized to Brad Kimes immediately after that. And I'm not the biggest fan of that dude, but I will apologize if I'm wrong 100% of the time. So I saw this today real quick. Axios. This is from Axios. IBM cuts back on blockchain. So kind of interesting though, because we know the stellar tie into IBM. You can read through this if you want to. Mike Novogratz, and this is the last thing I wanted to touch base on. 5 crypto assets could replace JP Morgan on the New York Stock Exchange. Now he gets into a couple of different interesting assets here. This whole group called DeFi or decentralized finance. He's talking about, I call it Aave, some people call it Aave, Chainlink, Compound, Yearn Finance, and Uniswap. Those 5, there's a chance that those 5 blow up the world. Now, I am very much so interested, and I mentioned this briefly in one of the Twitter chats I'm in some of these DeFi exchange tokens like Uniswap, and I actually don't hold Uniswap right now, but there's other ones out there too. 1inch is out there. I was going to get into 1inch a few weeks ago, and it already doubled in price. So, and some of these things, like you look for a good buying opportunity, and there just isn't one because it just keeps kind of going up. Luckily enough, like whatever. But what I wanted to say though is during the last bear market, we can see that some of the exchange tokens really held up well, even during a bear market. You look at Binance Coin, or Binance's coin, it held up amazingly well during the bear market compared to a lot of other digital assets. Like very, very well compared to a lot of other digital assets. I would be curious, and we're not there yet, obviously. We still, in my opinion, have our parabolic cycle for this bull market. what these DeFi exchange tokens do during the bear market, because people, as we know, are still going to want to be getting into digital assets. Certainly digital assets that are just coming out, that have very low market caps, that have good partnerships and potential good utility, and getting in on the quote unquote ground floor. Obviously not the ICO ground floor or whatever, but getting in low enough where we know it's still probably going to go up in value. And if there's incentives to hold these DeFi exchange tokens, I'm just really curious to see how this plays out. So like Uniswap is one, 1inch is one. There are certainly others out there, but yeah, I'm paying attention to this as well. It may be something that I look into here as this bull market progresses and really starts to heat up, because I think that we're getting close to that over the coming weeks and months. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I apologize if I come across as angry or whatever, but it's just the way that I am. I'm always going to try to be truthful. If I sound pissed off, I'm probably pissed off. If I sound happy, I'm probably happy. If I made a video and every single video I was jovial and upbeat, whenever there's news that's not necessarily dictating me to be jovial or upbeat, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, it's just not me. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be in the world, and I will certainly present news if there is news to present tomorrow. All right, later.